Welcome to the Ask Faleskini podcast with a guest. I'm proud to present Martin Dubreuil. Martin is a coach and business consultant. Martin, welcome to our show. Please tell us more about yourself and what you do.
Right. Thank you, Peter. First of all, thanks for inviting me today. Always fun to talk business. I'm excited all the time. First of all, a bit of a background on myself. I am Canadian. Yes, I live in Thailand now. That's part of my grand plan. I can explain later what it is. I've been in the industry for about, sad to say, but about 3 decades in leadership positions and different roles in management, executive roles for huge company like Costco Wholesale to the Metro Group in Europe to the equivalent in Asia. So I've worked in 10 different countries over time. And what leads me to entrepreneurship is over the last, let's say, 5, 6 years, I realized that what I really love doing in business is coaching people, especially the younger generation, coach them, teach them, bring them to a level where I can actually just leave and do another business. I don't like to stay in the business and do a career. I'm not there anymore. So I love that part. I don't like the budgeting and politics and stuff like that. So I decided a couple of months ago, actually, I've decided I'm just going to leave everything behind. And I'm going to start this as a real coaching business because I realized that there's a lot of people needing these type of coaches in the environment, both in the business environment, so corporation, in the leadership teams, especially now that the younger generation come, and with the AI and different technology coming out, there's a lot of change in the world, and sometimes it's difficult as a leader to navigate all this. So sometimes when you have a perspective from the outside, a new fresh eyes with the experience background, it helps companies who are doing this. But what I'm moving toward more and more now is what I call aspiring entrepreneur. And this is what I call my methodology the business therapy. And what it is basically is I'm a trained coach. I have formation coaching, and I'm also consultant and seasoned business leader. So what I do is I combine both, because typically a coach, we do a lot of mindset and talk and motivation, and it's good, it's necessary, but at some point when it's time to execute something, they might not be the best person to talk to. And then on the other end, you have consultant, which do a lot of beautiful PowerPoints for very expensive money. They do a lot of complicated work that nobody understands, and then they present that to the board and leave. And just remain a presentation, nothing happened. So what I do now, as I call business therapy, both for businesses or entrepreneur, is I combine both. So I like to say I coach the people and I consult the problem. So I mix both of them. I work on the mindset, I work with the entrepreneur, but in the same time, I bring tactical and practical solutions. So we kind of build that together. So as the entrepreneur, this is what I can I say. I had the choice to do either online training and classes or a lot of things that people can buy, but I kind of reject that. I'm kind of against that because I realized that over my career, every single business, every single entrepreneur is different. So yes, you can learn something into buying a course or going on YouTube or something. It's not going to solve your problem. It's going to help you. You're going to get educated, but you're not going to get the support that if someone like a mentor or coach or even a colleague businessman is going to help you through the challenges and bring you to the next level. So that's basically what I do for a living now. I do have also different businesses. I live in Bangkok. I also 2 small businesses in Bangkok as well. So I'm very, very busy, but I dedicate a few days of my week just coaching people. I just simply love it.
Thank you very much for this outstanding introduction, and I will start shooting the question. And the first one is, you mentioned the entrepreneur or business therapy.
Right.
I have a thesis, and I would like you to comment on it. And
Right.
I usually tell my clients that that every business problem is just materialization of some kind of personal problem, issue, trauma from the entrepreneur that has materialized as a business problem and is there for entrepreneur to start thinking or differently, or to change the point of view or change his or her attitude in order to solve this problem. And that also implies that in order to solve outside problems, we have to change on the inside. What is your take on that?
I totally agree. I would say I would build on that, and I would say I would push it even further. It's not only the business owner, it's not only the entrepreneur, it's the staff or it's the leaders as well. So if you put things in perspective, businesses is 80%, 90% people, right? The employees are people, the customer are people, the stakeholders are people. The rest is numbers on paper, but that's, business is people, at the basic level. And you're right when you say that the majority of problem being created, I don't want to call problem, I call them limitation. Because most of the time when I speak also with businesses or entrepreneur, yes, sometimes they have problem we can navigate through it, but most of the time it's they have ambitions, they have goals, they just cannot see how to achieve them. And this comes down to personal limitation or personal belief. And this is what a coach actually do. And when I say I work on the mindset first, is we discover what actually influence the business on your perspective. Why do you think you cannot do this? Or why do you think you have limited? Or for example, I said before we record here, a lot of the blocks of people that want to start a business, they say, I cannot start a business, I have no money. This is completely false. This is here. It's, or I cannot start a business because I'm too old. It's completely false. It's actually an advantage the older you get. You get all the backgrounds and all the knowledge and the easiest, the network, everything. I mean, everything is an advantage as you get older. But a lot of the limitation we get is here. And we've built this for years and years and years, either ourselves or through education or through the family or parents or even friends and spouses. They tell us, I mean, we've been raised to fail, basically. People put us the limitation and we never get a chance to expand ourselves, unless you break the barrier and excuse the language, but say fuck off and I'm gonna do my way anyway. Then you start getting the success. But if you keep in that little frame that the society put you in, then you're still gonna have the problem, your own limitation. So I totally agree with your statement here.
I would like to ask you another question. When you were talking about not problems but limitations,
right?
Would you agree that in most business, bottleneck theory is applicable? And if we understand the bottleneck theory, so where are our shortcomings and where do we have bottlenecks?
Right,
and
right.
if we extrapolate this bottleneck theory into the modern psychology and motivation, that is one of the best things that can happen to entrepreneur, that to have a coach or a partner that can help them identify their bottlenecks and shortcomings.
Right. No, it's a good comparison and good analogy, the bottleneck in the business versus your own bottleneck, right? And the problem, and again, coming from the people first, but eventually in the business environment, is we, as an entrepreneur, you extremely busy every day, right? You work long hours and every day, and you're getting bombarded with all kind of problem and your daily stuff. So you cannot take a step back, or it's very difficult to step back and realize what's really happening. And even if you can't, you have your own limitation that you've built over, decades, and you don't realize it, you don't see it clear. That's where a coach, actually, they're not necessarily solving your problem, but they're going to ask you the right question. They're going to challenge your assumptions to say, why you think this? What proof do you have that this is how it works? And when people getting challenged and start thinking about the answer, they realize, okay, yeah, maybe there's another way. And the same thing with business, and that's why I call it business therapy, is when you break it down in small bites, in small pieces, you realize that sometimes the problem is tiny, but it's a little clog in the wheel that block everything, but you remove that one and everything goes perfect and even faster. But it's difficult for, I call also the business as a business entity. Business is almost like a person, right? That different component, different brains inside. If you don't break down the business in small pieces, you cannot really analyze what's really wrong with it. There's I'm sure you're familiar with this a philosophy from I think it was Toyota, or the Japanese one, the 5 whys, right? So if you ask the question why 5 times, you get to discover the root of the problem. And this is one of the the methodology I apply when I consult on a problem or consult with people is asking the question why until I really there's no more, like it's like the basic principles to the very basic understanding what's happening, and we discover many things when we ask the right questions. So I'd like to say that coaching in general is not about bringing solution, because people have the solution, they just don't know it. And when you coach, is about asking the right question and challenging the right answers until the person in front of you find the answer. So we're not as a consultant sometimes expected to bring the answer. As a coach, I want to bring your answer up. I want to discover your own answer, because you know much more than I do. This is your business. This is you, right?
Thank you. I will challenge you now. You said that most business people are extremely busy and that they need a coach to ask them the right question.
Right.
Would you agree that most businesses nowadays are not sustainable in a way that people work too much? They don't have time to reflect. They don't take time off, and they don't take enough holidays. They don't build their day around their meal and their let's say yoga class and their either performance oriented or non-performance oriented, but it's all about more. It's not about quality. It's not about sustainability. It's not that. What I loved about one of my coaches is that she taught me that it's extremely important that every day should include everything. So should include a bit of a holiday or a rest, some exercise, a good diet, work, and also stress off, some socialization, so that even if you would never go on holidays, that you could survive with this, let's say, tempo.
Right.
What's your take on that? What's your take on sustainability in business, and
I
why is the grinding and the hustler mentality so popular right now?
I agree with you. Although it may depend on different culture, right? Because I'm Canadian. I've been raised in the North American culture. I live in Northern Europe as well, like Germany, and I've been to Spain a bit. And now I live in Asia, and I realize that sometimes the mindset is a bit different. Whereas in America, for example, people live to work. They want to achieve something. In many other countries like Asia, Southeast Asia, people work to live. So there's a bit of a mindset difference, and the work-life balance is also different because of that mentality. But I think it comes down to our definition of success, right? In again, if I don't want to make it more general than it is, but if you take, for example, the typical mentality of North American, success is defined by having the big house and big car and 2 days holidays in Bali and whatever. So this is success, and I have a big business and I'm making millions. My definition of success is if I wake up every single morning and I'm excited to start my day, I have success. I'm successful. Then the rest comes, the car, house, and I don't need a big house or big car. I'm happy in life. So again, it comes down to your childhood, that as a society, we're being raised of, you need to go to high school, and then you go to college, and you need to graduate by 25 years old, and you need to get married and have a house, and if you don't have a good job by 25 years old, what the fuck you doing? So there's like a roadmap for us, which is defined by society of being the success, and this is where people try to differentiate themselves of working extremely hard. Because I'm 28 years old, I don't have a Mercedes yet. What's happening? I need to work harder, right? And they forget that by doing this, they become less and less and less productive. And that's a problem I see in companies nowadays, is if you don't take the time to recharge, eventually you're getting less and less productive. Yeah, the audience didn't see that, but before we talked, we recorded, we talk about power nap. Taking a power nap in the middle of the afternoon is the perfect thing you can do. It's 15 minutes, but you wake up, you're fresh, your brain is sparking like firework. Let's go back to war, right? So we forget, I would say, as a society in general, but North American or Northern Europe, that yes, work-life balance is important, but we need to define what is the work-life balance. So what does it mean exactly? I was making just a content earlier today about 3 tips I suggest to entrepreneur to get that grind, to get over that motivation problem, right? Because of course, when you start a business, if you talk about business now, when you start a business, you get excited. You know, the first couple of months and you work every day, 10, 12 hours a day, you're getting excited. There's no stop. But at some point, you get burnout. You get exhausted. You even want to quit, but you cannot quit. You need to keep going, right? So there's 3 tips I give to entrepreneur normally that, you know, make sure that you do this. Is first thing is make sure that you define your goal properly. Not having a big goal. You can have big goals, but break it down in small, tiny little pieces. Because if you have very little milestone, but many of those milestones, first of all, easy to digest. Number 2 is easy to track success and progress. And number 3, it doesn't seem as big, it's easy to achieve. So every day you can achieve success. Every day you can complete goals. And then it leads to number 2 is when you achieve a goal or success, celebrate. Don't wait until someone tap you on the back and say, good job. You're an entrepreneur, but nobody's going to do it. So do it for yourself. Reward yourself. You complete a goal, you close the sales, good. You want to have a beer, go for a beer. You want to go for a walk, go for a walk. You know, make something good for you, make you feel good because you've accomplished something, you know, recognize that. And the third thing, the most important links to what you're saying is take time off. Take time off to recharge. As an entrepreneur, as a business leader, you're one of the most important resource of your company. You cannot burn out. People count on you. Your business counts on you. So you need to take the one day off or the one weekend or holiday. The business is going to wait for you. The business going nowhere. Nobody's going to die. But when you come back, you're going to be refreshed and you're going to be happy and you're going to get, you know, you're going to get at it again with full of energy. So it's important to make these little things in your business life, call it work-life balance if you want, or call it, you know, a discipline of the entrepreneur, but it's important. And you'll see, if you talk to very successful entrepreneurs nowadays, they have those things. I've met, you know, CEOs of company now or business owners that it's non-negotiable. They finish at 5 every day. Doesn't matter. I close my phone, you know, deal with it. And the weekend is the weekend. I'm spending my time with my family. They have successful business and they're getting more and more successful because they have time to recharge. When they go back to business, they're fresh, they're full of energy, they're motivated, they're not burnt out. So if you're not careful, it's like your phone. If you don't plug it from time to time, after a couple of hours, it's dead. Then what do you do with the phone? No battery.
Okay, I have another question. You touched it before. You didn't name it that way, but I will challenge it on it. You described an society expectation regarding the success,
Right.
and you said that you stopped living according to society expectations, and that now your key performance indicator is if you wake up and you feel excited for the day ahead of you. So
Right.
I would like to just discuss how important is this outer success with the inner success. Where do you see the difference between outer, the society expectation, and inner success, that inner feeling that we have to basically take care about?
I would like to say that the big difference is how much we care what people think, right? And the minute that, so a lot of the time I'll take an example. I've seen, I think it was on YouTube or something, that there's a guy that made a good statement. I can't remember the name, but he says, we work our ass off every day to buy shit we don't need to impress people we don't like. So that's the outer part of it, right? So we do things we hate to impress someone or not to be judged, basically, and because we care about what people think. We don't care about ourselves, right? We getting sick, we're getting tired, we're getting exhausted, we're getting burnout, but oh my God, I need to show off my new car. So this is where the shift happens, is when you start recognizing that's what's important. It's not what people think, is what you think, is what you feel, what's important to you. And when I coach people, I also always start every single time with any business, existing or entrepreneur, the very first thing I do is we define what do you want to become, what's important for you, what's your vision, and then we build the business around that. Not the opposite. Not building a business. The business should support your dream, not make you a slave, right? And that's the part that many people forgot, or they don't even know they have to do it. They start a business, and after 2 3 months they hate it. It's too much pressure, and they need to show off, and the people judge them. No, the minute that you make the shift that I do things for myself first, and then what people, if people are happy or not, I mean, you're always gonna, you cannot please anyone, never, whatever you do, right? So might as well please yourself first, you know, and then you build your life around what you want to become, what you want to achieve, what you want to have in the future. Then
Yeah,
everything's gonna follow. You're gonna meet people that you support you and like what you want, and the people who don't like it, well, you're not part of my life anyway. I'm going there, so you follow or you stay behind. I don't care, but I'm going there. So it's a
yeah.
mindset.
That takes a lot of courage to get out of the system and stop thinking about what other people think of you and your family, and assume responsibility to do your stuff, and just invite others to join in and buy your product because
Yeah,
you really enjoy doing it.
yeah.
That's a great
Almost an
piece.
awakening, right?
Yeah. Okay, Martin, before we close, is there
Right.
any other trick or secret of the trade that you can share with our audience?
I would say one thing I know out there, and I'm pretty sure your audience is a lot of them are thinking of starting a business, right? And I meet many people every week that wants to start. They've been talking about it for years, and in 10 years from now, they'll still be talking about this because they have fear. And my advice to these people is fear not. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. You don't need to create something that never exists. You don't need to be financially stable to start anything. There's no such thing as a perfect plan. So you start, the first thing is get your ID together, get help. That's what I do. It could be a coach, could be a mentor, could be a friend that you trust, that don't judge you. You need a cheerleader in your back, right? Someone that guide you, cheer you up, kick you in the butt if you need a kick in the butt. But if you decide you're going to do something, then do something. Fear not. Um, one of the biggest fear of aspiring entrepreneurs, what if I fail? And I say, what if you don't? Right? And first of all, failure is normal. You will, I guarantee you start a business, you will fail. Everybody fail. And I failed many times. But it's not about how you fail. It's how the failure is a learning. It's part of the business process. You talk to any entrepreneur out there, every single one, they probably not brag about it, but they fail. They fail at certain point, and they stand again. They learn, they start, they fail, they learn, they start, and eventually they build on it. So if you don't want to start something because you're afraid of failure, please don't. Don't be afraid and ask advice. And I'm gonna offer you to your audience now. Anyone that's listening and want to have a free session, I'm happy to your audience to give a free session just to kind of put the mindset there, see if they want to vent out or share ideas with me. I'm happy to be part of it. I just mentioned about your show, and I'll give the session for free.
Thank you. I will include the link to your website and where our listeners and viewers can reach you in the description below. And thank you, Martin. Thank you for being my guest tonight.
Thank you for inviting me. It was a pleasure.